The idea of perfection is an engine of dissatisfaction, and you should throw it out of your life entirely. Aristotle really got it right with his advice of not letting perfection be the enemy of the good. It's like 2,500 years ago. 10 out of 10, no notes. But it is worthwhile to explore why perfection can become the enemy of the good. And in fact, why perfection is fundamentally the enemy of all satisfaction with life and the most reliable means of progression towards mastery in any given skill. The issue is that perfection involves absolute thinking and stepping away from your present direct experience and into an imagined realm of possibilities and selecting from that the most optimal according to our imagination. And that's really problematic because it's very easy to imagine something that is better than all things which are possible. And so if you are focusing instead of on what's actually happening in your life right now on this imagined realm where perfection exists, you cannot help but be dissatisfied because your attention is on something which is always going to compare favorably to your life as you actually experience it. And that's just setting yourself up for a bad time. There's no actual value to doing that because your imagination doesn't contain all of the texture and frictions that emerge in life when you actually attempt to do anything. There is a principle in modern economics that says that rational decision making happens at the margin. And I think I have a lot of negative things to say about economics as a discipline, but that is an incredibly powerful insight because marginal thinking is concerned with taking in the exact circumstances we find ourselves in this moment and simply asking the question, what direction do I need to move in order to make this better? So I've made some effort. How is it? How can I improve it? Rather than stepping away from the effort and going, what is the best possible? And then coming back and saying, oh, well, this clearly falls very short. We should expect to fall short. That's perfectly natural. We enter into a life experience where we know basically nothing, and the acquisition of skill is a continual process that we have to undertake throughout our life. Unless we are the masters of some domain and have countless hours of experience of excellence, we're not even in a position to realistically conceive of perfection. And it's important to understand the constraints that make that impossible. The human working memory is very small. So anytime you are conceiving of a state of affairs in the world that is very far removed from what is actually in front of you, you have to make a whole bunch of simplifications. You have to leave out a lot of detail and a lot of the fine structure that determines how things actually unfold in the world. Friction matters. Texture matters. And so if you're going to find this absolute perfect optimal solution, you have to abstract away so much unnecessary detail. But in order to choose the correct abstractions, you have to have tremendous expertise. Otherwise, you're going to throw away details that are actually important, and therefore you're going to conceive of some notion of perfection that doesn't have any resemblance to what perfect would look like in the real world. So, if you're Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, you probably have the talent, the skill, the dedication, the expertise, the life experience to conceive of perfect. If you're anybody else, it's probably an insurmountable task for you to even begin to construct the correct series of abstractions in order to be able to effectively reason about what perfect might look like. So you're much, much better off just looking at what's going on right in front of you and saying, what makes this better? And then making the next effort and having that in front of you say, what makes this better? And in that way, you can hill climb your way to a very good outcome. Hill climbing is tremendously effective. It's very, very rare that we find ourselves in domains of experience where you have a local optimum that's very far off from a global optimum. That's a very abstract thing to say. I'm going to put a little graph on the screen that explains the notion of hill climbing and local optima versus global optima. But basically, all effective algorithms for generating competence that we have discovered, including evolution by natural selection, including basically every modern machine learning technique, fundamentally use hill climbing. You just figure out where you are, figure out which direction is up for whatever your measure of improvement is, and you go that direction. That is the way that people who actually get good at things tend to get good at things. They focus on their experience where they are, and they just get incrementally a little bit better each time. The folks who get bogged down in trying to figure out what perfection looks like are wasting a lot of resources that could be directed towards repeating their efforts and getting a little bit better each time. So, I've lost the plot. So to sum up, the idea of perfection isn't helpful. It's not something that's useful to strive to attain. You actually can't conceive of perfection until you're already so close that it doesn't matter. So you should focus on what's going on in front of you right now, make rational decisions at the margin, at the next exercise of your skill. How can I improve this? And climb your way up the hill of expertise until you're achieving a consistently good outcome. Never at any point stepping away from your present experience and engaging in this abstract, absolute exercise that's only guaranteed to lead to dissatisfaction.